morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It's time for All-Jo Madden over here on Picks and Parlays. I'm Jo Madden. I want to welcome you to the show, and we have a loaded show for this Friday. Don't forget, you guys, we are live here Monday, Thursday, and Friday, each and every single one of those days at 11 a.m. Eastern. So hit that subscribe, hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any of our shows. We've got 15 games out there on the diamonds. We've also got 5 college football games. We're going to be diving into some NFL Sunday games that you just don't want to miss of getting those bets in on. And then there's 2 CFL games if anyone does care about the CFL up here in Canada. Now, my guest list today is completely loaded. We've got Ross Benjamin stepping in, Jesse Schulz stepping in, and Anton stepping in to bring us that AI element that you guys didn't even realize that you needed out there to beat the book. So we've got tons to jump into. I want to encourage you guys to open your Odds Logic page. You want to make sure you're getting the best of those lines. Those lines are moving. So tuning in for the NFL lines that people are jumping in on today, you're going to get better value, hopefully, out there than you're going to see on Sunday morning. So don't miss out on everything that we have going. I do want to encourage you guys as well to head on over to X and get those bets in what you're liking out there on the diamonds. Today's X versus the polls. We're looking at the Dodgers versus the Giants and where people are putting their money. Now, currently the votes are coming in with 60% of you liking the Dodgers. The Giants plus the 1.5 at -137 over the Dodgers. This series kicking off today. We got a total of 7.5 in this one. 20% of you liking this one to go to that over at -122, and no votes yet in for that under at +100. So if you are liking this game to stay under that total, make sure you go in and get your votes in over there. So you guys, we're going to first look at who hurt you yesterday before we bring in our first guest. Who hurt you yesterday? Me? You guys know it. If you were sitting here with me yesterday, I was rolling with the Washington Commanders plus the 3.5, expecting this team to have every ability to come out and get the win. I looked at the Green Bay Packers off the win versus the Detroit Lions, and I thought, it's just got to be Detroit, right? No more Ben Johnson in Detroit. The Packers defense was solid, but I didn't expect what we saw out of them last night. This is the defense for the Packers here. They're really controlled. Jaden Daniels, and I couldn't believe what we were seeing out there on the field. So we did see the Packers get that 27-18 win. It took forever for the Commanders to start getting any momentum out there on the field offensively, and I was so impressed. Third downs on both sides for the Washington Commanders really struggled in that first half, but we did see them be able to put 18 points still on the board. But I tell you, this Packers team is for real. We'll look at the odds at the end of the show for them to take their division. We know they were the clear favorite after taking that win over Detroit. I do want to see how those lines have moved. Haven't looked as of yet. The only dog to win out there on the baseball diamond, the Chicago White Sox, they pulled it off. They were a slight dog, though, plus 112, getting the win over the Tampa Bay Rays. They won that one 5-1. All the other favorites won yesterday. A couple were able to cover that run line. But let's start here. We're going to look at MLB for today. Like I said, 15 games on the slate today. We're going to bring Ross Benjamin in. Now, Ross Benjamin, you can get all of his picks at Wager Talk as well as Picks and Parlays. But looking at him, he's been so solid as of late. We're going to talk MLB with him. We're going to talk some college football with him, as well as look at Sunday slate. So we got a loaded card here today. Great guests, you guys. Let's bring in Ross. Ross, welcome to the show.
Hey, Joe. Glad to finally meet you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you as well. I can't believe we haven't worked together over the last 5-6 years. It's crazy.
Well, we're going to do so now. We're going to do it good.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to look at a couple of things today. We're going to start off with the MLB because this is a loaded slate, Friday slate in the MLB. I know you're looking here at the matchup between the LA Angels and the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with a side. But one thing that I did come up with here is a team total on Seattle. Their team total right now is 4.5. This is a Seattle team that over the last 7 games has hit 13 home runs over the last 7 games with a .359 on base percentage as a team. And they're going to be facing Kikuchi from the Angels, and he's been horrible on the road this year. 15 starts on the road. 12-3 to the over on the road, including 4-0 to the over in their last 4 on the road. on the road, and it starts in a 9.16 ERA in his last 4 road starts, with a 187 whip and allowing 5 home runs in 18 2/3 innings pitched. And then the LA Angel bullpen has just been horrible all season long. And over the last 7, a 5.35 staff ERA, not very good. I like the Seattle Mariners here. I think that they'll have more than enough offense tonight to counter Kikuchi and also the LA Angels bullpen. I like the Seattle Mariners over their team total of 4.5.
Oh, I love where you're going there. I don't trust the LA Angels bullpen at all, Ross. So I think that's a strong bet, the over 4.5. I also there's 5 games on in college football today. I want to hear where you're going to go with any of these, if anything. Is anything jumping off the page? We know Indiana is in action tonight. Does that one stand out to you, or is there anything else that's standing out in college football today?
No, nothing tonight, but I like a lot tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I got 4 games posted for sale right now, including 5% best bet. But if you want to touch upon any of the elite games or the premier matchups, I should say, on Saturday, I certainly would indulge.
Yeah, we absolutely do. It is a loaded slate tomorrow. So many games out there in action. Now, I think the Florida Gators taking on LSU, the Tigers out there, is an interesting one. We're seeing the Tigers coming in as a 7.5-point favorite. That total sitting at 46.5. Anything that you're liking in this matchup, Ross?
Yeah, I didn't release this game, but I have an opinion, a strong opinion. I mean, if you watch my college football preview show here on Wager Talk TV, I did with Teddy, LSU was my pick, not only to win the SEC, but to win the national championship. So, and I firmly believe that they're going to come up strong in this spot. They did not look real good last week, but that can be expected since they were coming off that huge opening win at Clemson as a 4.5-point underdog. And the Florida Gators, boy, oh boy, that seat is getting extremely hot for Billy Napier after that loss last week to South Florida. And we're seeing a lot of early Florida money here that's dropped that opening line almost 1.5 to 2 points, depending on where you look. I just think LSU here, people are looking at what they did last week and are expecting Florida to bounce back. If it was a double-digit number, it would be one thing, but we're talking about a reasonable number of 7.5. I think LSU wins this game by 10 to 13 points. A small lean on LSU later points in this spot.
Okay, great breakdown there. Why to take LSU? You did mention Clemson. When you mentioned the win by LSU over Clemson, Clemson is in action. They're at Georgia Tech. Now they're laying 3 points in this matchup, and that total is sitting around 52.5. Any leans in this game, maybe the total or a side?
I really like Georgia Tech in this spot, Joe, and hear me out on this. I mean, this was a 7-16 from a season ago. But again, on my preview show with Teddy, I picked Georgia Tech to win the ACC. I think Haynes King, to me, is the best quarterback in the ACC, the dual threat quarterback. Now, he did not play in last week's blowout win over an FCS opponent, but that didn't slow the Georgia Tech offense down. And we saw Georgia Tech at Colorado in their season opener come up with a win and cover as a road favorite. And quite frankly, the 27-20 final score wasn't indicative of how dominant Georgia Tech was in that game. It could have been a lot worse if not for a couple of ill-timed errors early on by, I should say, turnovers early on by Georgia Tech, with or without Haynes King. And I got to believe that Haynes King is going to play on Saturday. I say that just because of where we've seen the line movement go and the steadiness of which the line has have been over the last couple days. And I just think Georgia Tech, Clemson, to me, I said it before the season starts, and I'm going to stick to my guns. And it's easy to say now, right? Because, look, last week against Troy, they had to come back from a 16-0 deficit at home to win 27-16. And really, their offense in the first 2 games against LSU and that loss against LSU and against Troy hasn't shown me squat. Give me Georgia Tech in this one, plus the points at home, Joe.
Oh, I love it. Georgia Tech plus the points. Gotta love a home dog in any matchup, especially college football. We've got a loaded day on a Sunday. We know the NFL kicked off last night. I was on the wrong side of that. I didn't believe in this Packers team. Well, I did, but I didn't believe their defense was as good as it looked versus Detroit. I thought that was a Detroit issue. I don't think it is. What did you think of last night's Thursday night matchup?
Yeah, I had Green Bay, they were dominant last night. Their defense is for real, Joe. I mean, I was with you. The jury's still out for me going into last night on their defense. I'm hearing everybody saying they're the best defense in the league after one game against Detroit. But boy, oh boy, they showed me a lot. And now back-to-back games against two teams that were in the playoffs last year. One that went to the NFC championship game in Washington, the other that was the number one seed in the NFC in Detroit. And they really shut both of those potent offenses down. So I'm a believer in that Green Bay defense, and they do just enough on offense. I was impressed with Jordan Love last night. Certainly impressed with their tight end, Kraft, who had a magnificent game. We'll see if that can continue, but they have a good running game. And they have an adequate passing game, and their defense is strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a believer now in their defense. Yeah. I didn't think so last night. I thought it would be strong, but not as strong as it did look. So shutting down Jaden Daniels was something else to see out there on the field. But we've got a loaded one on Sunday, like we're talking about. Let's talk about the New York Giants. They're a 5.5-point dog at Dallas versus the Cowboys. Can we trust the Cowboys at home this season, Ross, is my biggest question.
Well, I don't know if you could trust them at home this season, but I think you could trust them in this spot. And when I talk about the New York Giants, everybody should hold their nose because they were terrible last week. Not only did they lose 21-6, I don't even think the game was as close as that final score indicates because they were outgained by over 200 yards. Their offense was anemic. They allowed 200 yards on the ground. This is a Giants team that's gone 0-8 straight up in ATS in their last 8. It's exact 0-10 straight up in ATS, in their last 10 as away underdog of 13 or less off a game that they scored 14 or fewer. And 8 of those matchups came with Dable as their head coach. So, I really don't care for team trends unless they're recent ones. But sometimes when the majority of those results are under the same coaching staff, it holds a little more water with me. And I thought that Dallas deserved a better fate. They really, I thought, played a strong game at Philadelphia in the season opener. It showed me a lot, especially on the defensive side of the ball against a very potent Eagles offense. They held them to 303 yards. So I like Dallas's defense here to keep the Giants offense as anemic as we saw last week, and they'll do just enough on offense against a disappointing Giants defense. I mean, they gave up over 400 yards last week against Washington, and that was supposed to be their strong suit going into the year. I'm going to take a chance here on Dallas here. They're down to 4.5 in some spots. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys minus 4.5 over the New York Giants.
Against Russell Wilson? Come on. Is it Russell Wilson's last season, Ross?
To me, is it me or is he just really declined dramatically? I understand the guys as they get older, for the most part, their performance level goes down. But, I mean, he no longer is that huge threat with his legs. Mm-hmm. He's not as accurate a passer as he once was. I think it's, if they come up with another performance like last week, I would be shocked if they don't turn to Jackson Dart, who looked tremendous in the preseason. Now, I understand he was going against vanilla defenses, and I understand he was going against a lot of backups. But at this point, you drafted the kid number 1. And if your offense doesn't show any kind of improvement here, Joe, I don't know what choice Dable's going to have. I know they don't want to rush the kid into the fire, but they might not have a choice.
And I think that choice comes this weekend. I think Russ gets absolutely lit up in the first quarter, yanked out of this game. Jackson Dart goes in. What do you think the odds of that happening are?
Well, I hope not, because I want Russell Wilson to play the whole game because I like Dallas,
Yeah, very, very true.
I don't think that we'll see it that early if that occurs. I'm not so sure we'll even see it in this game, Joe. I think the decision will be made after this game. And again, if they are as bad as they were offensively in their season opener against Washington.
Okay, so I love all of your thoughts on that game. Let's turn to the Atlanta Falcons. They're taking on the Minnesota Vikings. We got a total of 44.5 in this one. And the Falcons are rolling in as only a 3.5-point dog. Where are you going to go in this matchup?
I thought the Falcons deserved better last week. They outgained their opponent. They outplayed their opponent. They just shot themselves in the foot, and Minnesota, they played one quarter of football last week, and that was in the fourth quarter at Chicago to win that Monday night matchup, much to my chagrin, as I had the Bears +2, and they lost by 3. But, I like these situations where you have a pretty good team. I mean, not a great team, but a pretty good team in Atlanta, coming off a loss against a team coming off a win, and an uninspiring win at that. And let's not forget, J.J. McCarthy is still basically a rookie quarterback. Technically, he's a second-year quarterback, but he got injured in the preseason last year and was out the entire season. I like Atlanta here. I think they bounce back and at the very least keep this game extremely competitive. And I especially like getting that hook on 3, Joe. So I'm going to take Atlanta here, plus the 3.5 against Minnesota.
I like the plus the 3.5 here as well. I think we're going to see more out of Michael Penix Jr. in this game. And I'm with you. McCarthy, I know that he's in his second year. Like you said, he's still a rookie quarterback. What he was able to do in that last game, that comeback win, but how he started that game, starting it off slow. I almost might look at the Atlanta Falcons in the first half as well, debating putting that one in.
I thought Michael Penix looked good, Joe, last week. Yeah,
he really did. So we're going to see Sean Higgs like in Dallas by 10. So do you ever alt those lines, Ross?
Nah, no, I don't do that. I think Sean's just making a prediction there, but who knows with Sean? I trying to get inside his brain is a monumental task. But I love it.
And then we got Jesse here roasting you a little bit with that's what she said. So always fun here on a Friday morning on All-Jo Madden.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse. I appreciate that comment.
Yeah, we got one more NFL game to talk for Sunday. We got the LA Rams at Tennessee. The Rams laying 5.5. I got question marks around Matt Stafford here. His back, how good he's actually feeling out there on the field. Both of these offensive lines are beat up right now, Ross. Where are you going with this one? We got total 51.5.
Yeah. The bottom line is I watched the Tennessee game last week intently, and their offense was horrible. 133 yards of total offense. Cam Ward, major disappointment in his season debut. But, again, he's a rookie. That comes to be expected, and playing in a tough environment against a quality defense. And he was just 12 for 28 passing for, I believe, 112 yards. It's not eye-popping by any stretch of the imagination. Tennessee's defense played good, but they managed to lose the game by 8, despite the fact they forced 4 Denver turnovers. So the Rams, on the other hand, not a great win, but a pretty decent one over a playoff caliber Houston Texans team, 14-9. More impressed, obviously, with their defense than their offense. I think the Rams defense will be the deciding factor here. And I think the Rams offense will come on in the second half. I say that, Joe, because I think that Tennessee's going to have a hard time sustaining drives on a consistent basis. And that's going to wear down their defense because they're going to be on the field too much. So I'm going to have a very, very small lean on the LA Rams here, laying the 5.5 on the road. It's not like Tennessee was great at home last year. 1-7 straight up in ATS at home, including 0-3 straight up in ATS as a home underdog.
Yeah, I can see Tennessee absolutely struggling in this one. I like where you're leaning with the Rams. I also like this one under 41.5. I just don't see a lot of these Ram games flying over that total. But Ross, It's been great to have you on the show. I hope to see you again here on All-Jo Madden over here on Picks and Parlays. Where can everyone get your bets and what specials do you have running for the weekend?
Yeah, over at wagertalk.com. My personal link, folks, at WagerTalk is wt.buzz/RB. That's wt.buzz, BUZZ/RB. Number one in college football since the start of the 2023 season in units earned. Last year, number one in college football in win percentage and units earned. 2-0 so far with my college football 5% best bets. Had LSU in week 1 over Clemson, an outright underdog winner. Last week I had Oklahoma -5. They covered with an 11-point win over Michigan. Also Major League Baseball, don't forget, that's still going on, folks, and we got the postseason coming up, and I'm number one in Major League Baseball this year and have been for over the last 2 months. So $49 for the weekend football selections. All my college football and NFL, it's called our Weekend Warrior Package. You can't beat that, folks, because I'm going to have a $35 pick. I already have a $35 pick in college football on my 5% best bet. Sunday, I'll have an NFL 5% best bet, $35. If my math is correct, and I have to take off my shoes to count,
I love
70.
it.
That's $70, and it's $49 for the package. So take advantage of that offer. Major League Baseball annual package right through the World Series. Just $209. Take advantage of that, folks. A lot of great specials going on at wagertalk.com.
Yeah, there definitely are. And I love how I could see you carrying that one in your head there. So, Ross, thank you so much for joining us here today. It was a lot of fun. Best of luck. Crush the books this weekend. And hopefully we'll see you over the next couple of weeks here.
You will. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. You guys make sure you go on over and give Ross a follow. Follow him on all social media, as well as check him out on wagertalk.com. We're going to start seeing him more here on Picks and Parlays. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to bring Jesse Schulz in just a second here. I just want to quickly go over where you guys are liking for that poll. And if you're watching right now, do us a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of the shows. Not only can you get All-Jo Madden over here on Picks and Parlays, but don't forget Total Chaos dropping 3 times a week. You don't want to miss out on that. All of the handicappers on Picks and Parlays you will see jumping onto that show, bringing that fire, bringing that heat, talking those totals. There's free videos coming out as well. You want to make sure you get those. And again, you want to make sure you go and give these guys a look over on Picks and Parlays as well as Wager Talk to get their best bets. You don't want to miss out on any of those. So X versus the books today, you guys. We're talking the Dodgers and the Giants. We know the Dodgers, of course, are the favorite rolling into this one. They're too much of a juicy favorite on that money line. You got to lay the 1.5. I know the Dodgers have burnt a lot of people laying the 1.5 in their matchups this season, last season, season out. Laying 1.5 today's plus 114. Only 17.6% of you are liking it over on X. The Giants are getting the love. Plus 1.5 at minus 137. 52.9% of people getting their votes in are betting the Giants plus the 1.5. There is love starting to come in on the under 7.5 at plus 100. 11.8% of people liking that, and 17.6% of people liking the over 7.5. Now that over 7.5, you will have to lay the juice at minus 122. But without further delay, let's bring Jesse Schulz into the show. Jesse, it's great to have you here on a Friday morning.
I'm excited to be here, but it's not Friday morning where I'm at. It's 11 o'clock at night on Friday night. Yeah.
Where are you that it's 11 o'clock at night, Jesse?
I'm in Chiang Mai, Thailand, in the mountains, in my office. Getting ready for a full work day.
Yeah, you definitely are. We've got a loaded weekend of sports. We've got a loaded day today. 15 games out there on the diamonds, and that's where we're going to start today, Jesse. Looking at the matchup here between the Baltimore Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto coming off the series versus the Houston Astros. In this one, are laying juice. They're minus 134 as a favorite. Chris Bassett getting the start. Rogers getting the start for the Orioles. Where are we going with this one?
Well, the Toronto Blue Jays in first place in the AL East. leading the New York Yankees by 3 games. Must-win game for the Blue Jays, so we got to go with Toronto, right? Think again. All these teams in pennant races right now. You got the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Astros, the Mariners, the Dodgers, the Padres. None of them seem to be winning games that they need to win to close the gap and win the pennant. But and that's the case here with Toronto. They're just 6-6 in their last 12 games overall. Baltimore comes in as winners of 8 of their last 9. And Chris Bassett, he's had a solid season. He hasn't been that good of late. He's winless in his last 5 starts. In those games, he's put 36 men on base in 27 innings. He's walking guys. He's giving up a ton of hits. That's a recipe for disaster in this spot because the guy on the other side, Trevor Rogers, if he had started the season and played a full schedule, he'd be looking at a Cy Young. His numbers are just incredible. He's now had 13 straight starts allowing 2 runs or fewer. The Orioles are 11-2 in those 13 games. He's 3-0 with a 1.62 ERA in his last 5 starts. This is a pitching mismatch as far as the starters. I like Baltimore on the money line, perhaps a split bet where you put half of your bet on the run line as well. I like Baltimore in this spot.
And I thought we were going to be friends, Jesse. I'm a Toronto Blue Jays fan. I'm up here in Canada. No, just joking. I'm with you. I think those numbers are off. You're able to get them. Here are the Baltimore Orioles at plus 114. Great plus money, especially with Toronto coming off that series versus the Astros. So I like your look here.
Yeah. I like the Blue Jays as much as the next guy. I've been to Blue Jays games in the past, but it just doesn't look like a good spot for them here today.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. Okay, so you let me know that you are Canadian. There is some CFL in Canada happening. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Hamilton Ticats are in action 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. With the Ticats the favorite at 7.5, laying the 7.5, 51.5 that total. And then the Red Blacks are taking on the BC Lions. BC laying 9.5 points at home in that one. Total 56.5. Is there anything that's jumping off the page in these 2 games for you?
Well, I'm actually from Vancouver Island, and I grew up a BC Lions fan. And I saw the Lions last week go into Ottawa, lay the smack down in the first half, and then turnovers and penalties resulted in blowing a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. So this game, to me, with the revenge factor going back to BC, is the more interesting of the 2 games. And Ottawa's starting quarterback, Drew Brown, is certainly far better than the backup, Dustin Crum. Dustin Crum is a competitive guy. He's decent in the running game. His passing game leaves a little bit to be desired. And on the road at BC, that's going to put them in a tough spot. I do like the Lions in this revenge spot. I think they're going to put up a ton of points here at home. They've just got a few things to clean up. They had over 100 penalty yards last week. That is something that you can correct. And of course, they've got Nathan Rourke, a guy that had a stint in the NFL, a guy that broke all the records in the CFL in his first couple seasons with BC. He threw a couple interceptions last week. One of them was on the final drive, though, so that was sort of to be expected at the end of the game. I think BC comes out like a house on fire. I like the Lions to win and cover. Probably worth looking at the first half as well.
I absolutely love where you're going there. Nathan Rourke, Canadian quarterback. He's been absolutely phenomenal. And I think he's going to have such a successful career moving forward. So we got to talk some NFL because that's where people's passion really does lie. We got a loaded one on Sunday. The Cleveland Browns, we're going to kick it off with here, taking on the Baltimore Ravens. We know what happened to Baltimore versus the Buffalo Bills. They allowed the Bills to come back from down 15 points. That had to be absolute devastation for this team. Now they're laying a heck of a lot of points in this matchup. Can we trust them to cover?
Well, Joe, everybody knows that the Cleveland Browns are the laughingstock of the NFL. They can't beat anybody. They can't get out of their own way, except when they play the Baltimore Ravens. In the last 7 head-to-head meetings between these 2 teams, Baltimore has been the better team, of course, but Cleveland has won 4 of the last 7, and they've covered as a double-digit dog in 5 of those 7 games. adding insult to injury for the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens will be celebrating their 30th anniversary at this game against the Browns. And for those of you who know your history, they took the franchise from Cleveland and put it in Baltimore. So this is like inviting your ex-wife to your 30-year anniversary with your new wife. Just spitting in the face of the Cleveland Browns. That's going to add extra motivation. And I just don't know how anybody could lay a dozen points with a Baltimore team that allowed Buffalo to amass 497 yards of total offense and average 6.4 yards per play. Cleveland probably should have won in week one. It was a missed extra point, and I believe a missed field goal that cost them that game. They got the cover, which was great for me, but I like Cleveland to get the cover again here and keep it within single digits.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't believe that line is moving that way where we're seeing the 12s up from the 11.5s out there. Too much love for the Baltimore Ravens with people expecting them to be able to jump back. I'm not buying into it either. And I think you're on the money. Let's talk the Seattle Seahawks versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know Aaron Rodgers looked fantastic in his return to New York. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, what do you think he's going to look like in this matchup versus Seattle?
Yeah, I don't want to overreact to the results of week one. They say week two is overreaction week. You always see bettors pile on and try to copy what was successful in week one, and that's usually a recipe for disaster. And when I'm looking around the week one slate and seeing how it translates to the week two slate, I'm thinking the overreaction is going to be with the totals, because we saw all but two games last Sunday go under the total, a lot of low scores, which when you think about it, isn't surprising. They've shortened the preseason. Nobody plays their starters in the preseason anymore. To me, week one is almost like what used to be week four of the preseason. So not surprised to see low scoring games. One game that wasn't low scoring was Pittsburgh versus the Jets. Aaron Rodgers threw for 244 yards, 4 touchdowns on 22 of 30 passing. Pittsburgh came from behind, snatched victory out of the jaws of defeat. That game was one of the few that went well over the total. So this game opened at 42.5, quickly bet down to 39.5. I think there's still some 39.5s, maybe 40s on the board available. I got to go over just to go against the grain and go against the knee-jerk reaction. I think there's more value all across the board this week. All those totals that opened at a number and got bet down 2 or 3 points, to me, that's an overreaction. So if you want to stack overs, I think you'd do quite well this week. I'll take over 39.5 in this game.
Yeah, we're seeing the over 39.5 at -118 on FanDuel. DraftKings has it at -115. And if you guys are looking for who has that 41.5, it is coming in on Pinnacle at -117 to the under 40.5. So interesting movement in that game. I'm with you, though. I think we're going to see those points. I have faith in Sam Darnold there for Seattle. I know a lot of people don't say that, and I do think Aaron Rodgers has continued to have success. You can't shake your head at that. Come on. You already went against my Toronto Blue Jays. Now you're going to shake your head at Sam Darnold? Yes,
well, there was a reason why I didn't mention Sam Darnold in my play on the over, because I have absolutely no faith. The only thing I can rest my hat on is that Pittsburgh's defense was so bad last week that even Sam Darnold might be able to score 20 points.
Okay, I'll forgive you for that one. Sam Darnold has had his struggles in his career. Let's look at the Buffalo Bills. They're taking on the New York Jets. We know Justin Fields looked great in that game for the Jets. He was able to scramble, use his legs, but now he's got to face Superman there with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. What do you think we're going to see in this matchup? This is another line where the Bills are such a large favorite. The Buffalo Bills laying up to 6.5 on some books. There are some 6s out there. This total sitting, there's creeping up 47.5 at Pinnacle. But you're able to get 46.5 at Bet MGM. So get those odds logic pages open, you guys. But Jesse, what are you thinking of this one?
Yeah, we just watched the Baltimore Ravens amass 432 yards, and they averaged 8.6 yards per play against Buffalo. They ran for 238 yards, averaging 8.2 yards per carry. And that's bad news against a Justin Fields offense that is sort of similar to Baltimore's. I mean, Fields, certainly the dual threat guy. He ran for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns last week against Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh's supposed to have the best defensive line in football. And the Jets had no trouble gashing them for yards and points. Fields in the passing game, 218 yards on 16 of 22 passing. How could I back this Buffalo Bills defense as a road favorite after seeing what I saw? And to me, I'm even less likely to back them when they win that game. I would have been more likely to back them if they lost and then they were forced to clean things up. But when you get away with something like that, I got to see it before I can believe it. Not only that, this Jets-Bills rivalry sort of echoes the Cleveland-Baltimore rivalry. Little brother gets up for these games. Josh Allen has not played well against the Jets in his career. So I will take the points with the Jets, and I'll lean over the 46.5 as well.
Yeah, I can see that over definitely coming in 46.5. So shop those lines out there, you guys. We can get the Jets up to 6.5 on some books. You're going to have to lay a little bit of juice. There are 6s popping up, so make sure you guys go on over and get those bets in today. Jesse, I think we're going to see more and more 6s. Do you think we'll see the move to 5.5 though?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Like I say, everybody's saw what Justin Fields did last week. This team probably should have won that game. I mean, there's only a few quarterbacks that would have been able to beat the Jets the way they were playing last week. And Aaron Rodgers did what Aaron Rodgers does, whether or not he can continue to do that or not. But that says more about Aaron Rodgers than it does about the New York Jets, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, Jesse, I want to thank you so much for being here on All-Jo Madden. What have you got up for sale this weekend? Where can people find you on socials? And what else do you want to promote?
Yeah, at Jesse Schewel on Twitter. I'm not on there all day, every day, but I try to put free pick videos out every other day at least. As far as what I got up on the site, I've got the Super Bowl rematch, the Chiefs and the Eagles in that rematch this week. That's my big play in the NFL this week. I'm probably going to be pretty conservative with this week's card because I'm still undefeated. I'm 5-0 in the regular season. I was 5-0 in the preseason, and I'm 26-5 with my last 31 NFL picks dating to the beginning of last year's playoffs. So I'm feeling it. And of course, you can get that weekend pass for $49. In fact, they didn't ask me before they put that out, because if they asked me, I would have said that's way too cheap for a whole weekend of football picks.
Well, especially when you're on such a fire out there, Jesse. Congratulations on the hot run. Yeah, blow out those flames. Best of luck this weekend. Best of luck tonight. And in Saturday's action, it's going to be a loaded one. So you guys make sure you go on over and follow Jesse. Don't miss out on any of his picks. Jesse, I hope to see you again here shortly on All-Jo Madden.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Thank you so much. Okay, you guys, that was Jesse Schewel. Go over and give him a follow on Twitter, as well as grab all of his picks, his packages over on Wager Talk. You can also start checking him out here on Picks and Parlays as those picks start to drop. Now, we are bringing in Anton from Advanced Sports AI. We're going to break the slate down for Sunday football from the AI perspective. So just don't go anywhere, you guys. Before we do that, I just want to take a look at the poll where we're looking here in the Dodgers and the Giants, what you guys are liking. And I'm not seeing too much of movement. We're still seeing about 50% of you rolling in here with the Giants plus 1.5 at minus 137. The Dodgers aren't getting too much love. Only 22.2% of you liking the Dodgers, laying the 1.5. And then we've got the over coming in at 16%, 11% of you liking that under 7.5. So it's going to be an interesting matchup here in a late night baseball. Like I said, loaded day out there on the diamonds, but we got to talk some NFL here with Anton from Advanced Sports AI. Anton, welcome to the show.
Hi, Joe. Good morning. Pleasure.
Good morning. How's your Friday morning treating you so far?
So far, pretty good, and anticipating a big NFL weekend and really putting our AI to work.
Absolutely. So we've got a loaded slate for Sunday. You guys open up your Odds Logic pages. Make sure you have those lines in front of you as we start breaking those down. So tell me about the process, Anton, with the AI program that you're using. How do you start looking at the slates?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. I think this is really important to understand because our approach is very different. This is the culmination of about 8 years of effort. In fact, it started as a curiosity with a sports information company. And this is through my position on the faculty of a leading research university working in AI. I had an AI institute as well as a cybersecurity institute. So we wanted to see how well we could do with AI technology. So we put a lot of models together. We did pretty well right out of the gate, culminating in the 2023 NFL season in almost 75% accuracy against the spread. And so what we do, so I think it's really important to say this is not ChatGPT. This is not generative AI. We're using several different models pieced together into a pipeline. We have a group of data scientists, applied mathematicians, software engineers, all putting their talents to work together on this effort. So we do predictions against the spread and also point totals for the NFL. So that's kind of, that's really our approach, our secret sauce. We're looking for, as they say, signal in the noise. So we bring together thousands of data points for teams, players, their history, even weather and all those kinds of things have to factor in to really find patterns, hidden patterns. And it's been very interesting listening to the talented gentleman before me, because this is what the computer is doing, but it's what humans do, but on a grand scale, looking for correlations.
So what do you say to those people that are AI doubters out there, Anton?
Well, it's math. That's all it comes down to. So we do a lot of modeling, and but I've worked in professional sports before. I'm a baseball guy, and it's important to say they are humans out on the field after all. So we do our best with the numbers. We understand that it's not all numbers, but there is a method to the madness. And the good thing about AI is that when you train and you test, you get some results from the testing. And within a certain percentage, you can be pretty confident that moving forward, those are the results you're going to get.
It's absolutely fascinating.
That's a great thing. That's a great advantage of AI. It's not about streaks. It's really about steady she goes.
Absolutely. It has all the data built in behind it. Okay, so when we're looking at your AI model this weekend, without giving away your best plays that you're going to have for sale, what are you looking at? Where do you think we find value with AI in the lines?
Yeah, so we find value in different ways, in different places. Sometimes it will pick up an underdog. And other times it will say, well, the margin of victory, it does tell us what the team is expected to win by. And sometimes, like, the previous discussions you had with Jesse and Ross, for example, Buffalo, I think that the prevailing sentiment is that, and the model says that Buffalo should prevail against the Jets. But maybe, on the order of a score, something like that. So I think people are getting kind of carried away with the Jets, in my opinion, because the model is saying that Buffalo should cover about 57%. So we talk in probabilities. Nothing is certain. And that's what people have to get used to. And so, what we promote is that people stay with us, stay the course to really hit these probabilities. Picking one game from our arsenal is just one game. It's like one flip of the coin. But over time, you really get closer to how the model is expected to perform. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm just seeing a couple of glitches here, Jess or Anton. Hopefully you're not seeing those glitches come through on that side. Not sure what is happening on my end. Are you able to hear me?
I'm able to hear you. I just can't see you.
Okay,
So
let's
we can hear you pretty well. Now I can't hear you either. But I can talk a little bit about some of the other. An interesting one is Baltimore. You were talking the Cleveland at Baltimore game, and you were talking about that earlier. The model happens to agree with what you were saying. I think it gets pretty dicey over 10. Giving Cleveland more than 10 points. Our model is very comfortable under 10. So it might be something like maybe a 2-score game according to the model, and that's with 61% certainty, which is pretty good. So, I think that taking a teaser line on this one might be a safe way to go.
okay.
And
Can you hear me?
I can,
Anton?
yes.
Yeah,
Now I
I'm
can
not
hear you
sure.
again.
Yeah, I want to apologize to everyone out there. I know you can't see me, but at least you can hear me. Anton, I want you to give us everything that you've got going on this weekend. I want you to tell us where everyone can find you for all of your picks, and then tell us a couple more games that you're liking based on the AI. And I apologize for the issue. I'm not sure what is happening here, but we will be back up and running efficiently on Monday. But Anton, if you just want to give your spiel.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks, Joe. So you can find me on Picks and Parlays under Advanced Sports AI. We're easy to find. We're the Advanced Sports AI logo. So we're right there. And we have a $49 weekend special that includes not only the Sunday games, but Monday as well. And we have some spreads and we have some point totals as well. So the one game that's pretty interesting that the model picked that you all were talking about earlier was the Dallas-New York Giants game. And this is a game where the model really likes the underdog. So the Giants, looking at my, the model says Dallas will prevail, but the Giants should cover. And that's kind of an interesting pick, but the model is pretty solid on this one. So that's another one, and then one more on the point totals. Just picking one, I think where the money might be a little bit different on some of these, but the model. One of the nice picks is New England at Miami over about 43. I think the model has the over with 64% certainty, so that looks like a pretty good pick. And then after the over hits, you can rest easy and enjoy the rest of the game on Sunday.
Okay, Anton, thank you so very much. I appreciate your time here today on All-Jo Madden. Where can everyone find you on social media as well as get your picks?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram. We're on X. Just look for us under Advanced Sports AI.
Thank you, Anton, so much. All the best in all of your bets this weekend, and let's crush the books. So Advanced Sports AI, everyone go on over and check it out. I wish you guys all the best in all of your bets. Sorry for the issues here. I'm going to try to log off the show. Hopefully you guys can hear everything that I'm saying. All the best in all of your bets, you guys. Cheers.